And people are also wondering, what are your personal learning strategies and where do you learn new stuff from? Do you have a specific source or do you always just type it into Google and then use whatever you can find when you try to learn a new topic?
Yeah, I don't think I have a particular source when I'm trying to learn something. A lot of it is, I think, people driven. So like there are particular people who I trust either within the company, and I say, hey, like if they've written a note about something or if they made a code change, I will go out of my way to look at that code change and learn from like what do they do, how do they do it. Or if there are particular people like on YouTube, like, okay, I know Florian, you make great tutorials. So like if you make something, I'll actually check it out, and I can trust that there's been a lot of research behind it. And similarly, like on Google, I try and find people who, like on Stack Overflow, like reputation matters a lot because it's a very strong indication of, okay, this person has been around the block and they know what they're talking about. So I don't really have a particular like website or anything in mind. It just, I try and find people who I think they know what they're talking about and I can trust what they're doing with a higher degree of confidence.
So when you work at a company like Facebook, then you get mentored a little bit. You have people that you can ask, right?
Yeah, like back to like what we talked about, like why do people want to work at big tech? I think that's one really big thing compared to working at a tiny company or on your own. One of the biggest perks of being at a company, a big tech company, is that guaranteed there are going to be people who are better than you at some dimension of software engineering, right? And the amazing thing about most of these companies is that it's pretty open. Like you can literally go in and see every code change they've made in the past year or like for the whole time they've been at the company. You can look at, what comments are they leaving on other people's code changes. And there's a huge amount of value in being able to look at how really talented people operate. And you can figure out, okay, what is the gap between what I'm doing and what are they doing? Like, how are they able to achieve so much more than me? And that's something that I think is unique to, like you need to be able to find people like that in order to learn from them. And that's what big tech companies will give you in a big way.
And when you started, when you had your first days there, did you feel overwhelmed?
I think almost everyone feels overwhelmed because especially at these big tech companies, everything is custom, or most things are going to be unique to that company. Version control, the code review process, the way you like the developer environment is going to be actually very different from what you're probably used to as a indie developer. And so I think at least for the first 1 or 2 weeks, you're going to feel really overwhelmed with all the different tools and technology. But that's where, having a buddy, like having a mentor or a manager who can help guide you through that process becomes really valuable. And I think most of these companies will have some pretty structured onboarding process where, they'll help you get familiar with what the tools are and how do you use them.